he's about as Italian American as you can get. And I was like, what if we go that route? You know, it's food I love. It's food he's amazing. And then we both kind of just like looked at each other, started making out, and we're like, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Welcome to the Dinnernet with Mark and Meg, the only podcast that won't steal a historic neon sign.
Ooh, shots fired. Today, our guests are Marcus Lalario, owner of Darkalino's, Mezzanotte, Lil Woody's, Pat's Chicken and Waffles, and Ciudad, and Sean Russo, who's the chef at Darkalino's. Welcome both.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
How you guys doing? How was your weekend? Did you do Easter?
Don't celebrate Easter.
Okay.
But we do celebrate 420. So.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
Still a good reason to get together with the fam, though. So
Good,
we did see some of that.
Yeah, make some food.
Yeah.
What'd you eat?
Risotto.
Nice.
Sausage and peppers.
Very good.
Parmesan. Chunks of Parmesan.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad,
Yeah, it was
especially
good.
if you're 420ing. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What'd you
about
do,
you?
Sean?
Didn't really celebrate Easter. All my family's out of state, so
Yeah.
I was up here solo. But we grew up always eating lasagna, like a meaty lasagna on Easter.
Nice, yeah.
So I went to Mezzanotte last night for lasagna Sunday.
Perfect.
Hit up Chef Johnny in the morning, and I was like, "You got lasagna for me?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, dude." Coming to fill that homesickness
Every
void.
Sunday
Yeah.
at Mezzanotte.
Right.
It's really good. It's really
Is that
good.
an Easter thing, lasagna? Italians?
I think-
Any Italians here at the
Thanksgiving,
table?
Christmas, Easter,
Yeah.
any
Every-
holiday.
every Sunday.
Anytime there's a
Yeah.
lot of people coming
Yeah.
over to eat, it's kind
Yeah.
of like
It's a
safe bet.
weddings, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
absolutely.
When
We
you don't
eat,
eat, Lent, you're not eating meat.
Yeah, right.
So then Easter is the first day you're eating a lot of
Sure,
meat. So it's a lot of meat on the table.
yeah. We would eat ham, but
Oh, yeah.
QFC ham, not good ham. My family does not have delicious holiday tradition. Ham's good. I'm down with ham, but not
no
the
doubt.
ham that we would eat.
Yeah, sure.
How about you, Mark? Did you do Easter?
No, I didn't do Easter. I didn't have, I don't know. I'm not religious.
Easter's dumb.
So it's,
I'm just going to
yeah,
say it.
No
Easter
doubt.
sucks.
It's not my thing.
No.
And I had a ton of work to do, so I had to
You did work
stay
all week, yeah.
home. And I did make it to Mezzanotte's anniversary party
Yeah.
last night, like later in the evening. And congratulations are in order,
Thank
I think,
you.
there, because you guys, I think, you opened 5 years ago, did you say?
Yeah, about over 5 years ago, but then the new iteration it's been 4 years. So,
Yeah.
But we've been there for almost 10 years now.
That's
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool stuff.
Mark, what did you work on?
I worked on a bunch of day job stuff. That,
boring.
Yeah, wasn't
I'm not
interesting.
interested in that.
I know, right? I wasn't either.
That makes two of us. Nice.
But yeah, so you guys are joined on the Darkalino's endeavor in Pioneer Square.
Yeah.
And could you tell us a little bit about like where that is right now in terms of its...
Yeah, so Sean, when did you, December?
I started in Pioneer Square in January. My first day was the first.
Yeah, January 1st.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
first day in Pioneer Square.
Yeah, and then we met Sean the prior year at the Darkalino's Tangletown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So you-
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So you brought him in to head up that space, that expansion. How'd you guys meet?
Internet.
I
Yeah,
just
cousins.
poached, honestly.
Yeah, just
I just applied at Poach. I was looking to leave my current job and kind of get back into more away from fine dining per se and more into Italian food, which has always been my bread and butter, and saw the ad up. And I live in Roosevelt, so Tangletown was really close. And I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, damn, all right, dude. Like, new Italian restaurant, super close to my house. Let's check it out. And just applied on Poach, the good old-fashioned way. Yeah.
So was that location a little bit of a different concept for Darkalino's than the Pioneer Square one?
Well, yeah, so originally it was supposed to be very, very similar to that one. And then when Sean came in and we saw what he could do, we were kind of like, okay, we got to let him do his thing. So we kept a couple of the things that made Darkalino's really Darkalino's and then let him flex a little bit. In the neighborhood prior to opening I've never seen so much excitement about a restaurant.
Really?
Before opening, pre-opening, the amount of emails and people popping in like, I've opened up quite a few different doors around the city and I've never seen excitement. So we're like, oh shit, this is going to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we did the Little Woody's next door.
Yeah.
So it was just first time for me doing something like that. And that was exciting.
We had a killer brunch menu. We had like full on that was kind of different than our Pioneer Square location. Is more different kinds of menus, more expanded menus, different programs and everything. But
Tangletown seems like such a brunch neighborhood. Like it seems conducive to brunch.
That's what you'd think.
You think.
thought.
You would
So,
think.
dude, it was You know, and it's funny because it's like I made the dinner menu, and then it was kind of like, okay, make a brunch menu, and I was like, Italians don't even eat, we don't eat breakfast.
Yeah,
Like,
we
what am I
don't
gonna
fuck with
do?
that.
And I was kind of like scratching my head, and then I ended up being like, honestly, like more proud of the brunch menu than the dinner menu at one point. I was like
Really?
so hyped on it. It was this huge challenge. Like, okay, how do we make like Italian food, but like dope and brunch? And
So
like
what did
still
you do?
American brunch. We had like
Focaccia French toast.
Yeah, focaccia
yeah.
French toast
Crazy
was
good.
super
Oh,
good
man.
with like pistachio and orange whipped cream.
Oh,
And
hell yeah.
pane Russo, which is kind of like from Sardinia. It's kind of like chilaquiles, like Italian chilaquiles,
Okay.
with like Sardinian flatbread and tomato sauce and poached eggs and everything.
We had pasta carbonara,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, the carbonara was super good. Man, we
Breakfast sandwich.
breakfast sandwich, yeah, with the Nduja patty, like
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
some like killer stuff. So it was
was
kind of
beautiful,
It was
yeah.
really good, yeah. And I was honestly pretty surprised how little traction we were getting from
Yeah.
brunch.
So-
It seemed like it's such like a stroller mom kind of neighborhood,
Sure,
right? That
yeah.
you think they'd be like, let's get mimosas and
Totally.
French toast.
You
and
would think- I do think
don't
that,
know,
but
man.
no.
Yeah.
So not to be a bummer, but like, where did it go wrong? Because about like what,
I
5
just-
months later, you decided to close, right?
Yeah, so we're 5 months into it, and we're having some good nights, and we're having some not so good nights. And I was in Japan with my family, dealing with little Woody stuff out there, and I was kind of looking at my kid and looking at my wife and thinking about time and where energy needs to be, and I just made I didn't make a final decision because I needed to talk to my team, but I had a decision in my head like, fuck, let's just shut this thing down and let's move all our strengths back to Pioneer Square was my thought. And kind of this resurgence of really, really good Italian American food. I was kind of seeing it, and I love chicken parmesan and I love sausage and peppers and I love that stuff. And I was like, Darkalino's is closer to Mezzanotte than I ever wanted it to be.
Right.
So Mezzanotte, let it be that. And then let's go to this Italian American thing and do this really good comfort food. And I knew that was his wheelhouse and, his love. So when I kind of came and talked to him about it, I could see his eyes light up,
Yeah.
and being like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And luckily I have amazing investors who understood, and I just didn't, we could have made it work. I've made worse things good in the past.
Sure.
But the amount of time and energy that it would have took, I wanted to give that to my son and my family.
How long did you give Tangletown Darkalino's? Like, how long was it there before you decided to pull the cord?
5 months.
Yeah, 5-6
Oh,
months.
not too
yeah,
long.
5-6
Okay.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were the things you were looking at that really made you think, all right, what I'm seeing here is not leading me to want to continue this? Was it simply the bottom line, or were there other factors?
No, the bottom line rarely makes a decision for me. I mean, if I was a bottom line guy, I would never open restaurants.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with restaurants. Yeah.
It's like there's a bunch of stuff like, how is this affecting staff? How's it affecting my upper management? How's it affecting my team? Is it a positive thing? Is it giving jobs? Is it giving jobs that people enjoy? There's all that stuff that goes into it. Is the reward coming back? Or like, are the customers there? And you kind of know you don't make money off a restaurant in the first year or two. So that wasn't the plan. The main thing was just my time and like, I'm going to have to be here and do so much stuff marketing wise, which I'm not scared to do. But when I have a new baby and I have a wife and now we're having another child, it's just like, and then, seeing all the energy Sean was putting into it and having discussions with him along the whole way, we decided that was the best move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our investors understood it and were cool. And they just said, yeah, let's on to the next,
Good.
Yeah.
Sean, are you happy in Pioneer Square? Like, it's going
definitely.
swimmingly. Yeah.
I mean, the only advantage of Tangletown is it's like so close to my house, right?
Selfish. No,
Not
I'm just
commuting.
kidding.
Yeah, it's completely selfish. Not commuting downtown. Like being close to my house was like, but that's like the only advantage.
You got
over
the
it,
light rail
right?
if you need it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so easy to get to Pioneer Square on the light rail,
sure.
so it's not bad, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing. I was like, oh, it's in my neighborhood. It's really close. It's easy.
Yeah.
But the energy at Pioneer Square is just so much better and different. And there's so much more happening every day to day, and the big windows and all the natural light coming in.
Yeah,
and,
beautiful
Chillers.
building.
Yeah, super beautiful vibe. And I think we have more of a concreted, founded concept. You know what I mean? Where we were kind of Tangletown, we kept trying to do like different things. But like, all right, let's see what clicks, what's sticking. What does the neighborhood want? We weren't really getting too much consistent feedback from the neighborhood necessarily. And then, like Marcus was saying, we kind of hey, let's do this Italian American thing, right? Where there was a point in my life where like I grew up on that, like working at Fisherman's Wharf since I was like 14 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I was kind of like almost embarrassed of like that, like a red sauce house, Italian American food, where I was like, that's like the basic stuff. That's what I did when I was a kid. And trying to do this whole like new American approach to Italian food, like, and that's cool, right? But then that kind of got so played out that it's like the nostalgia becomes cool, right? And then we're just kind of seeing, and you know, Mark started talking about looking at like there's all the, you know, Donna's in LA and Frankie and Joey's and like all these big, really cool hip restaurants that are like going back on that nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the country, and I think Seattle especially, is kind of like got into this like, hey, this nostalgia, like just comfort food, like just the food we want to eat, not the food that necessarily is just about taking a picture for Instagram or like impressing your friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But like it's food that you actually like want to eat.
And
Like,
it's-
you don't want
and
to
it's
just
nourishing,
look at it. You actually want to eat it, right?
And then we just thought, like, how do we like let's just call it spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let's have chicken parm, let's have sausage and pepper. Let's make it approachable, because we have the fans that come in, we have the sneakerheads that come in, we have the people off the fair, and then we have the foodies that come in. But we want people to know what they're eating and not feel, you know, like sometimes I'll go to restaurants and be like, what the fuck is that on the menu? You know, we just want it to be approachable, I guess is the word.
They want to know what the fuck they're getting into.
Yeah, so we did that, and then we made everything cheaper. We said, you know what, let's just bring the prices down, try to have everything under $20 a plate if we can.
Amazing.
And then let's just see what happens. You know what I mean?
for
and
sure.
it's been working. It's been really cool to see. And it's been cool to see, you know, walking in, Sean smiling. You know what I mean? That's been great.
Yeah, that's
Aw,
You know what I mean?
Sean's smile.
And we got
Sean's precious smile.
and he's got a great team with them, and everyone's kind of clicking, and
Yeah.
it's just it's really starting to happen.
So for listeners who may not know, Darkalino's is a restaurant and a bar and a shoe store,
And
right?
a sneaker shop
And
and
a
a
sneaker
clothing
shop.
store and
And a clothing store.
and a gallery.
But that's home team, right?
Yeah, so Home Team and Darkalino's are in the same building.
They're in a big space. There's no wall separating
no
them.
walls and
There's some
everything's-
bleachers.
Yeah, there's shoes are on one wall. There's the kitchen. Everything's there.
Yeah.
You can shop from your table. We have QR codes on the menus
Oh,
now.
I didn't know that.
That's the other thing we did is we made our menus a little bit more Cheesecake Factory-ish. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
we have ads for shoes that we have coming out and events coming up, and it's just a little bit funny.
Smart.
You know
No,
what
that's
I mean?
smart.
Yeah, it's
Versus,
like-
versus being so precious.
Sure.
Yeah.
So cheeky.
Yeah, tongue in cheek nostalgia. Like I think the culinary scene got so fucking pretentious, man.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we all know it, right? Like
Oh, absolutely.
everyone got so far up their own ass, man.
Well,
I'm just
they
not gonna- you
were
know what
like, I
mean?
have to charge $40 a
And
plate.
I
I
did
gotta
too.
make it
Like,
precious.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying I didn't too. You know, like before this, you know, I was chef de cuisine at the lake house, and I was doing pastas that were 3 or 4 pan pickups. You know,
Yeah.
with like 4 different sauces and espumas and all this shit. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I kind of got to the point where I was like, do I even want to eat this? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like this angelotti dish has 7 components on it. That's dope. But like brown butter.
Good
and
job,
sage
everyone.
works really
But,
well
yeah.
too, you know? Like,
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing that you're cooking at Darkalino's now
Oh man.
that you like to eat?
That I like to eat. Well, to be honest, it's really hard to eat your own food because you smell it so
You're
much.
sick of it,
but
yeah.
I'm still really hyped on the chicken parm.
Yeah.
Sauce
we
parm.
have that.
Sausage and peppers. I always really like.
Yeah.
I really like. I think the clams, we do like a vongole, like
Oh, yeah.
clam bowl and the pasta,
Yeah.
and that's really well received. And that one to me is still really exciting. I think it's like very nostalgic for me, like growing up like Monterey, San Francisco, Fisherman's Wharf, like
Yeah.
that's all my kind of background.
And
is.
I'm happy to test anyone to see if they make a better Caesar salad.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good to know.
yeah, and that's
I love it, man. I
That's-
love a
that's-
good
So
Caesar.
Caesar,
too.
yeah.
we put shrimp cocktail on the menu.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
super hyped on the shrimp cocktail, and now that the weather's changing, that's like selling really well. And these were all fun things. It's not like I had this Caesar salad dressing that I've been sitting on for years, right?
Sure.
Like it was just kind of like, okay, if I'm gonna do this like classic restaurant stuff, how do I do it? How I do it really good.
Yeah.
And luckily we had some time to do R&Ding. Like when Tangletown closed, I had like a month or so just to use that as like a test kitchen and just be like, all right, let me try a few different kinds of Caesar. Let me try a few different cocktail sauce. Let me just like play with stuff. And yeah, just like being like having that foundation or that like those guidelines of like, all right, don't overcomplicate it. Make it classic, but like
Yeah.
make it your spin. Yeah, and I think I make a pretty killer Caesar salad, man.
It's banging.
Yeah, it's pretty banging.
I gotta try it.
Yeah.
It's interesting the lifespan that certain foods have, right? Like a Caesar salad right back in the day was a really fancy thing to have.
Yeah.
And then corporations co-opt it and then it's bottled and
It's like
made with
Applebee's.
Yeah.
Food. Yeah. Or thought of that way.
But the thing that I always say is that just because a corporation co-opted a thing doesn't mean that the thing sucks.
Right.
Like their crummy corporate version of it sucks, but you can make a great version.
Absolutely.
But you kind of have to have some courage to do it because it doesn't have coolness anymore.
Yeah.
And
And it has fucking anchovies in it, and things
and
that maybe people
Sean
don't
crumbles
know.
up all the croutons, so every bite you have a crunch. It's
Oh,
not
yeah?
just a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
croutons on
Good.
it. So.
this is a controversial
that.
thing these days. I saw an article, I think it was Bethany at the Times did
Yeah.
about, do you want big croutons or do you want the crumble? I think there's some other places like Stevie's Famous does the crumble like you guys.
Yeah.
And I personally love that. But
Yeah. I
like
It
There's-
depends on the quality of the crouton. If it's a piece of shit crouton and
True.
you get 4 giant ones, you don't want to eat them.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
great, they're easy to pull
Yeah.
out of the salad.
Luckily, ours are focaccia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, right? Because you guys are
That's
making the
focaccia.
focaccia there and you're
Yeah,
making the
so
croutons
it's-
out.
Luckily.
Yeah. But I like just having this, you're not like fighting around
Yeah.
trying to chase
Yeah.
the
Bite is a
crouton,
bite
you know?
you
just
want.
stab
Every
it.
bite has every single component in it.
Can
So it's
close
not
your
like
eyes and stab
one
and it'll
bite
be
has
delicious.
cheese,
no matter
one
what.
bite has bread. It's like, no, every bite has every single thing in it.
Yeah.
So-
Nice. Marcus, this might be a little tedious to explain again, but I love the story behind the name Darkalinos. Do you mind telling listeners why it is called Darkalinos?
Sure. So I used to drink a lot of whiskey, and at times drinking too much, I would be nicknamed Dark Mark. And so as I got older,
That's your character
and
when you
more
got dark.
mature, yeah, it became Dark Mark, and then the Count Darkalino, and then Darkalino, and then my IG was Count Darkalino, and then Darkalino, and then finally I was like, all right, I'm just gonna be Marcus again for a while.
Is this your friends nicknaming you this?
Yeah. And then when I did the spot, I've never really like named anything for namesake, you know, but I just always liked Darkalino and how it sounds Italian, but it could have this other kind of cool meaning. And so I was just like, Darkalinos it is.
The
You know
little
what I
dark
mean?
one.
Yeah. Been that too.
Yeah.
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 We all have.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I think it's a cool representation of like not trying to be authentic Italian.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You
When
know,
I
and
first
it's
heard
kinda
it, I'm like, that's not an Italian
Yeah,
word.
but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's the approach we're doing, and I kind of got sick and tired of everyone being like authentic Italian, traditional Italian, whatever. And it's like you're still in America. There's still some bastardization or watered down component to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like rather than trying to claim something you're not, just be what you are. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, my family's from Sicily, but I'm from California.
Yeah,
You
you're
know
not
what I
from-
mean? Like,
yeah.
I grew up with more Mexicans than Italians. You know what I mean? And like, I think that has a huge part on the food I make and stuff. And like, just be what you are. You know, this is America. It's a melting pot. Nothing is authentic, and I think that's what's kind of cool about it and beautiful about it is it's its own thing. You know.
That's legit. I think
Yeah.
Mark and I have talked a lot about the subject of authenticity when it comes to food. And my
Absolutely.
favorite quote from you, which I think was about bagels, was if something tastes good, it is good.
that's
That is
exactly.
such
Yeah.
a good
If you
philosophical
like it,
point.
you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of validity in diaspora cuisine, whatever the diaspora is.
Absolutely.
You know, there's some diasporas that are underrepresented and there's some that are super represented, and you know, there's that corporatization that has happened with them. And I think that's happened with Italian food, that's happened with Mexican food. But just because that's happened, it doesn't make the diaspora invalid anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Like authenticity is also valuable for someone who had a dish in Cambodia when they were a child and they have it again. There's value in that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that every single version of that dish needs to be identical to the kind that you had in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Foods evolve for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to news?
Maybe we should move to news, but first.
But first, first of all, I have those beverages. So talk amongst yourselves about authenticity for 1 second while I get the beverages. I wanted them to stay cold.
Yeah.
Taco time is authentic to itself.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, man.
taco time is authentic PNW.
Authentic to yourself though. It's
You
like,
know, it's
yeah.
authentic to itself, you know.
If it's what you are, it's what you are, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, we're talking about food changing. It's like my food came to family comes to California and Nona's making food with what she has available, right?
Right.
You know, she doesn't have everything available she had in Sicily, so she's using more beef and more American products, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You're just adapting. And I've talked to other like Italians and Italian Americans that are like, there's something very Italian about just working with what you have and what you can.
Right.
And preparing it in an Italian way. And it's
Yeah.
not necessarily about where the olive oil came from or where anything specific, what the specific ingredient is, but just cooking it in an Italian approach, you know? And yeah, it's exciting, you know?
I think it's if you respect what you're cooking, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, and you're doing it from a place, a good place, like fuck it, go for it.
Absolutely.
You know
All right, so these are from the grocery outlet, and I had my eyeball on them for a while, and I want them to be good. They're just seltzer. They're like LaCroix.
what I mean? I am a seltzer fanatic.
I am too.
I'm
So I'm
so
excited about these. These
Yeah.
are strawberry basil. The brand is Ora Bora, Aurabora. I want
got a
them
good
to
can.
be good. They've got
Yeah.
a cute little can with like a porcupine with strawberries stuck on it.
It says
hat.
real basil extract, so
I
that's
hope that's
promising.
true, but they didn't say real strawberry.
True.
Just the basil. It smells
Grocery
very
outlet,
strawberry.
Bargain market.
Not bad.
It's not bad. I taste the basil.
Different.
Yeah.
It's herbal.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got.
I want to put vodka in it though.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean that would be the way. All right, carbonated water, natural strawberry flavor, basil leaf
Beaming.
extract, which I like better, lemongrass leaf extract, and out.
It's definitely
That's it.
more herbal than
Yeah, it's more herbal than
Yeah.
strawberry. The
Yeah,
strawberry
that's
is kind
good,
of
though.
like a starburst strawberry though. I fuck with these. They're fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got,
co-signing.
I got no complaints. I think that this is the kind of thing that, well, grocery outlet, as you've made the point before, Meg, is
Yeah.
a really great place to get staples at, and we're always kind of choosing the most out of left
Absurd,
field
yeah, weird
items
shit.
there.
Yeah.
But there is a fun way of experimentation at that store too.
I have
and this is
decided
one
that I
of them.
can't afford not to shop at a grocery outlet lately because everything's
Yeah.
$1.99.
Gross. I love. I mean, I used to live 2 blocks from there. And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We were there all the time.
Yeah, it's the closest supermarket to my house, so I just go there.
I wish there was one in my neighborhood. There isn't one anywhere close. It's terrible.
I got It's from Grocery Outlet.
Oh, nice.
It's,
Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, they do
Oh,
have
yeah.
It's and
Yeah.
my
I
boyfriend,
haven't-
who's also
yeah.
from the Bay, but he
Yeah.
says, so Steven says, he's from Gilroy. You're from
Yeah.
Watsonville, right
Yeah.
next door, right?
Yeah.
Steven says that the quality of the ice cream has gone down and that
Everything
years
in the
ago
world
it was better quality
Sure.
ice cream and now it just tastes kind
it
of
was
like
a little
Cool
different.
Whip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little. It wasn't as like soft. It was a little more stiff.
When I
but-
first started dating him, he's like, "You got to try this thing
Yeah, it's
from
a
the
s-
Bay Area.
the
It's
San
like
Francisco
the
treat,
food of
man.
my
It's so
of
funny,
my
like,
people."
it's so
I,
good.
I love them, but Bay Area people love.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a nostalgia. Like I think of like the community rec pool in summertime, and that's like the ice cream they sold there. If you're a kid from that part of the country, that's like the ice cream treat you ate
Yeah,
during summer,
for sure.
like when it's hot.
They
So it's
are
like
delicious.
All that
I like-
nostalgia comes back.
I like the mint one.
That's one. I like.
That's the one I like
like
too.
the coffee
with
one's
the,
pretty good too.
the
Yeah.
oatmeal cookie.
Yeah, the oatmeal, that's
Yeah.
the trick is the oatmeal cookie.
Yeah.
That's what sets it apart.
That's a wild combination.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a BOGO here. This is the food treat from the Gross Out, from the Food Will, as I like to call it. This is Nature To Go brand, Young Chewy Coconut. My friend said that sounds like a Malaysian rapper's name.
Young Chewy.
So much.
Brendan McGill earlier said it should be spelled Y-U-N-G.
Sure.
So at first I thought this was just coconut, but in fact it's young coconut sugar, glucose syrup, and salt. So
Okay.
it's like a processed
Give it a shot.
candy.
I wish they weren't individually wrapped. But
Oh, well, I'm glad they're not all stuck together though.
there's that. Oh, real quick. There's a place in Seattle to get It's It, and it's Slice Box in Sodo.
Oh yeah, the slice box
Okay.
have
Yeah.
them?
Their hours are a little bit weird. I think they close at like 4. But
Over by Filson and all that.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is
They
like
stock
it.
them.
This
This
reminds
is
me of
good
something.
weird. Yeah, me too. It reminds me of like nougat.
Almond Joy.
Almond Joy.
Almond joy.
Joy.
It tastes like almond joy.
It's like an almond joy.
You're
yeah.
goddamn right.
Yeah.
It's a healthy almond joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Ooh, I just
Really good.
smacked into the mic.
Well, I know. I'll cut it.
Don't cut it. Leave it in. It's about authenticity here.
I do edit out lip smacking like very
No.
aggressively.
Stop it.
Young coconut and basil water.
I'm gonna do it now. Yeah, it tastes like an almond joy. That's
This-
fine.
yeah,
I'm
this-
okay with that.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Texturally, flavor wise, this tastes exactly how I hoped it would.
It's
Yeah.
like
I
golden
feel
brown.
like you could eat a lot of these too.
Yeah.
without-
Yeah.
I'm eating a
bad.
second one.
I
I'm
love-
How you
having
get
another.
nature to go.
I don't know what I love coconut. I drink
I do
coconut
too.
water like,
Yeah.
like
These are
probably
delicious.
4 times a week. I always have a coconut water.
What's nice is it
love
has a sense of it's not dry, right?
Right.
Like there's a real sense of the fruit.
They're lovely. They look like little caramels.
Yeah.
Still
But
young,
they're-
so it's didn't lose any of his juice.
Exactly.
It's the youth.
It's not yet bitter. it's still young and sweet.
Yeah.
It's the veal of coconut candy.
the veal coconut.
It might
Love it.
be the title
Might
of
be
this
the
episode.
title.
Letter grades for these two items. Meg.
A-.
Yeah, for both
For-
of them? In aggregate or each?
Yeah, I would buy either of these again, or drink them if they were handed to me, or
Yeah.
eat them if they were handed to me. Yeah,
I would say B+ for the
Sure.
strawberry basil, A for the young coconut.
yeah. I fuck with these young coconuts.
Yeah, Sean, what do you think?
I was gonna say the same thing. B for the drink and A for the coconut.
Yeah,
I love coconut though.
yeah.
I'm going B's.
Yeah,
I'm
straight
not a
B's.
huge
Solid
coconut
Bs.
fan.
Yeah.
It would have been a C, but it was young coconut.
I'm a coconut
the
pet.
name bumped it back up.
Yeah, middle-aged coconut gets a C.
All right, shall we do the news?
All right. Oh, yeah, we have some news to get to.
I feel like this week we don't have a giant wave of closures like we usually do.
Yeah, that's very nice.
I know that there's a Top Pot on Queen Anne that's closing,
Right.
which is sad, but also like they're still alive, right?
Yeah, I think that chain has gotten to a place of just more presence. And so I would imagine that the decision to close that location was more a matter of like, well, we're covered elsewhere in
Sure.
the city. We don't
Yeah.
really need this real tucked away neighborhood spot.
I get
Although
it.
I'm sure it's a bummer for the neighborhood.
I think anytime you have a chain too, I do reach out to people who have bigger chains than My Little Woodies, and they say some of them just drag, and so
Yeah.
you can run it until the lease is up, or if it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
you move on to the next
Yeah.
spot.
Sure.
And I think that's where they were at. It was a matter of not renewing their lease.
Yeah.
So,
And I do want to say the guys who own Top Pot are great human beings.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't know them.
I know Supreme Pizza's closing soon.
What?
The
Which one?
The university one.
What?
No.
No, the one with the bar inside?
Yeah, my friend's a manager there, which is like it's not the best pizza in the world, but I really like it.
I love
I like
that.
the
Like,
Detroit slice.
Me too. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I go for is the Detroit
Yeah.
slice. And it's I live like Roosevelt University District, and there's not a lot open super late besides like
Yeah.
Shawarma King.
Right.
Right.
So like getting the Detroit slice was awesome. So that's kind of a bummer. There's a lot of stuff closing in University Roosevelt.
I don't
area
like to
right
hear
now.
that.
Yeah.
We got some openings.
Yeah.
We got Akebono Japanese Cuisine, which is in Ravenna, in the old Black Pearl space. They're doing teriyaki sushi, sashimi, rice bowls, ramen. They're doing everything. They're doing every Japanese food, looks like. And they just opened. They have complicated opening hours. You want to tell me?
Yeah.
Mark had it all
One
about
of
opening
those-
hours. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, they're doing that thing where during the week they're closing for a couple hours in the middle of the service.
Okay.
So
I respect
11:30 to 2:30 from Monday through Thursday, and then 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Cool.
And then on the weekends they're open straight through. So 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday.
Cool.
And then they close a little bit early on Sunday at 9
I will
p.m.
add that Akebono is a kind of cherry blossom tree.
Oh,
Oh,
I learned that when I Googled it.
it's a good
Yeah.
name. That's
Yeah.
a good name for that neighborhood.
Yeah.
totally. And the neighborhood seems to really enjoy it so far.
Oh, good.
Pretty rave reviews of so real traditional Japanese food, but it looks like they're hitting it pretty good.
Cool.
I noticed that Marmalade opened across the street from LaCoin, which has been trying to open for like a decade.
Yeah,
I stopped in there very briefly. I was at LaCoin and the staff was kind of peeking around the corner like, is that place finally open? They've been trying to open this place for like
Yeah.
a decade. And I was like, do you want me to go over there? And they're like, yeah, we can't leave. Like, tell us what's going on over there. So it's a gelato shop called Marmalade. And it's cute. And they had a lot of different flavors. And there were, moms and kids and
Sweet.
people were partying out there. So
Yeah,
it's been in the
that's-
works since 2018. Wow.
Oh wow!
Jeez
I wonder what the
Louise.
Wow.
does permitting hold it?
Yeah, what's the
or
problem?
Wow.
I don't know
Well,
what the
glad
hold is.
they've managed to open, and they're open every day, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah, they do distinctive variations like rose cardamom and salted graham cracker. Good to know, especially if you have kids.
Salted graham cracker sounds
That sounds
great.
Yeah.
I
really
want that
Graham
today.
cracker, I don't care. Salted?
Yeah, that's right. Once you use salted as a
Sure.
prefix, it's kind of like more intriguing somehow.
What if they did like salted focaccia gelato or something like that? Like I was thinking about the focaccia earlier at Hitchcock and how salty it
Yeah.
is.
Oh God, it's so good.
Like it's better than regular focaccia because it's salted. What if you put it in ice cream?
You could do like a bread, like a focaccia bread pudding kind of thing.
Or like a
into the
ricotta ice cream?
Yeah, ricotta ice cream.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to
that
do.
sounds great. I don't know how to pronounce this place. I think it's Chigpa Small Chicken Patio on Capitol Hill.
CHIQPA?
Yeah.
Chickpaw. A small
Chickpaw.
chicken I love. Small
Where is
chicken.
this at?
This is where the rice dog place used to be over on, oh God, what is that street? Is it Harvard?
I don't know. It's on the hill.
Yeah. and
Korean corn dog destination corn dog with a K.
Oh, I know where Mia's Teriyaki used to be.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
They
Okay.
used to do a chicken teriyaki burrito in there that I would get.
I remember
My club
that.
was right there, so I became very
Yeah,
good
yeah,
friends
yeah, I
with
bet you
Mia
were.
and was eating that fucking burrito.
Yeah. So this place is pivoted to be doing a roasted and fried chicken, but they also have their corn dogs still on offer.
Nice.
So they
And
it's the same people. They just
It's the same people.
Now
Yeah,
they're
just
doing,
a rebrand.
Korean fried chicken.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's smart.
Yeah, totally.
Into it.
We've also got Robin's Restaurant and Market.
Oh yeah, and the
from-
old art of the table.
Yeah. And that's from Grant Rico and Oral Anbar, who also own Greenwood American Bistro.
The Gab.
Yeah, so that's pretty aggressive. Those two are
That's
just-
fast.
Yeah.
Because
I think
AOTT just moved out. Yeah.
well, yeah, that's a fast turnaround. And then it's a very fast expansion for them as a restaurant
Yeah.
group, right? They just opened Greenwood American Bistro, 4 months ago or so?
Something like that. December maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, they're doing sort of an all-day diner kind of model where they're open at 8 a.m. and closing at 9 p.m. and just
Really?
straight through.
And that's in Fremont on Stoneway.
It's on Stoneway. Yeah.
I
And
love a diner.
Yeah.
I'm a
it looks
huge
real
diner,
cool
yeah.
in there. I don't know if you guys been to Art of the Table over there in that space.
I think I've been in that. I know where it is.
I've never been
but
in.
Yeah. It's
I'm a
got
frog.
a really large kind of like semicircular bar. And I think that is really well suited to kind of
To a diner.
vibe.
Okay.
Now it's a very large space.
Yeah, it
so it's an aggressive move by them to open up every day and for those hours.
Okay.
That's a long day.
But I appreciate the chutzpah. So
Okay. Yeah, that is very fast.
yeah, they're doing things like waffle breakfast sandwiches, confit tuna salad sandwiches,
Okay.
mushroom
Fancy
toast.
tuna salad.
Yeah, and then they pivot over to a dinner menu that has things like braised beef over heirloom polenta,
Interesting.
and they also have a pantry section, a little bit like Art of the Table did, where they had a little market side. So they're doing a similar thing.
It'll be interesting to see how that neighborhood responds to, I have to assume, an upscale diner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It sounds like more like entree,
Uh-huh.
new
Like-
American diner.
Yeah, is it going to be, because it's not super foot trafficky in that
Right,
part of Stoneway,
right.
so it's going to have to be the neighborhood folks.
Yeah.
There's a
Like
lot of restaurants over there
who's
too,
the
right?
target
Yeah.
there? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Brooks running.
yeah, maybe.
Joggers don't eat waffle sandwiches.
I mean, the employees from Brooks.
Oh,
They're over there, right?
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
okay.
Yeah, it is. I think when I think of that area, I myself don't have much of a concept of like, what is this place? What does it need? I mean, obviously, I'm not a business person, so I don't have that acumen the way that others do. But even still, I think sometimes we get a sense like you're in a place and you're like, oh, this makes sense for here, or that
Right.
doesn't make sense for here. But I don't.
I've had an idea for this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always glad to hear that there's someone in the space and it's not just
Absolutely.
sitting there. So,
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's another one of those weird neighborhoods that like I love Fremont, and there's
Yeah.
always so many people there, but so many people have a hard time. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, we just lost two babies in that same area
My
neighborhood.
first job in Seattle was I was sous chef for Maria Hines at Agrodolce,
Mm-hmm.
and then like how many places has that spot changed, right? And you have
Right.
like Google right there, and it's just always like
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful building with the tree in the middle and everything, but like no one can make it work. And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why? There's so
It's weird.
many people there, and there's Google there, and there's Brooks there, and
Tableau's
Mysterious.
there. And
Yeah, I think it's that thing. There's a stereotype of tech people not having adventurous palates, and I think that
That
bears
shit's true.
truth. Yeah,
It's true. As someone who dated a lot of tech dudes in the like aughts, they eat Taco Bell, they eat
Yeah.
Domino's Pizza
Yeah.
and Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, it's
yeah, it's challenging.
Yeah.
The whole shit's hard.
I'm
sure.
eating more young chewy coconut.
I
Sorry
noticed.
if my voice changed a little.
I'm also thinking, here's a piece of news I think is worth mentioning. So Roquette, the doctor's office, and Canon were all named on a list of the 100 best bars in North America. And this is from a publication I myself am not very familiar with, but all three of these spaces are pretty excited about it. And so anytime some recognition comes people's way, especially when things are so hard right now, I think is worth celebrating.
I haven't been to the doctor's office yet, and I drive
Oh,
by
really?
there all the time.
Number one.
Yeah.
My number one bar in the city. Like
Yeah.
just for cocktails, for
That's
high
the
level
one on
craft
Olive,
cocktails.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
cool.
I would agree with that.
It used
and
to be a teriyaki joint.
yeah, we can't shut up about them. Like we're like the official
Oh,
podcast
shit.
of the doctor's office, but like when something kicks ass,
It's
like what
so
are you
good.
what are you gonna do,
World
right?
class. World
Yeah.
class.
Sweet. Is
Just-
it owner operated?
Well, I think Dr. Matt
Yeah.
basically takes kind of like, his approach reminds me of like what I understand of your approach, where he owns it and then hires people who know what they're doing and empowers them to just like cook. But yeah, basically everyone who works there is just on it.
Yeah.
They also have a Japanese robot toilet that will warm your behind and shoot water at your butthole and whatever else you need doing.
Sick.
Yeah, which is the real reason why
That's
it's a favorite
why.
bar.
You guys go
That's
there.
the doctor part. You get an exam when you use the toilet.
Anyways, and congratulations to Roquette and
Yeah.
Canon as well.
Has anyone been to Canon lately? I
Yeah.
feel like they had a shift in their theme, and now it's kind of like a Wild West theme on the menu. And like you'll order a drink, and it'll come to you in like a plastic hamburger with a bendy straw. Like it got
Shoot a gun at you.
wacky. Like they
Okay.
still have the beautiful booze library,
Yeah.
and they still
Yeah.
have lovely cocktails. But like I ordered something, and it came to me in a plastic horse's head. And I was like, the fuck is this? And I actually asked for a glass. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I need to see what I'm drinking. And I wanted them to decant it from the latex horse's head into a real glass. And the guy was like, I'm sorry. It's my first day. I don't know. And I'm like, oh, man. It was very strange because, of course, Canon has been world class and is celebrated as like the best bar in the universe.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and you get your drink served to you in a plastic cheeseburger. And you're like, what?
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
again, no hate on the actual drinks, which are beautiful and lovely.
Okay, so you're saying it's a little bit incongruous for what you're.
Something has changed
Yeah. Okay.
at Canon.
Interesting.
Something is afoot at Canon.
All right.
I'm glad they got the award. I'm not trying to strip anyone of their award.
Yeah.
But it's different than I remembered it.
Okay. I'm very curious. I'll probably be swinging
Yeah,
by
I
there
think you should pop in.
to see this.
This might be the best advertisement they could get.
Yeah, people are like,
Yeah, everyone's
maybe.
like, I got to see what the hell's
Yeah,
going on,
yeah.
dude. This is wild.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like the kind of thing that would happen in a dream. Like, oh, Meg,
Yeah,
I had the
it
weirdest
does.
dream. Like, I
It
dreamed I
does
went
seem
to.
like a weird dream.
I went to Canon and they served a cocktail in like a giant colorful burger that looked like a dog toy. I don't know.
It really does look like a dog toy.
And then I woke up and I was like, oh wow.
Thank God Canon didn't do that in real life. And then the last scene is like someone putting down the dog toy burger cocktail.
Yeah. And then you wake up in your bed, but like next to your bed, there's like a little piece of that color like on the floor, and you're like, was it real?
All right, that'll do it for news. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
something that you touched on in the podcast that we used to be on, which was that people don't realize that Pioneer Square is a community. Then people live there, and it's not just where you go to party and go to bars and get shit faced. Like, it's a real neighborhood.
Yeah, I would say it's one of Seattle's flagship neighborhoods, if that's a term. Right?
I mean, to me, it's like the coolest, most beautiful part of Seattle.
Yeah.
And I even forgot that living here, having all my business on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like traveling, you sit in these beautiful squares around the world, and you're
Right.
like, why isn't this in Seattle? And you're like, oh shit, it is.
It really is.
You know what I mean? It just needs like less kitchen stores and more cafes and restaurants
Yeah.
to be in that square. Or
Sure.
it needs Seattle to be like, we're going to throw a bunch of picnic tables out here and feel free to bring your food and hang out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, and it's definitely on the way up for sure.
How do you guys feel about where it is in its recovery? Like, what would you term it as currently?
I think like we're at like 25%.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in the music era of Pioneer Square, and then the nightclub era, and then that died, and then everything's.
Yeah,
but
there
you
was
know,
sort
it
of
was
a
Capitol
cycle.
Hill was popping, and then Belltown, and it feels like Pioneer
Yeah.
Square is kind of coming back, and so that's exciting to us, and we're doing everything. You know, we've rebranded the mall to be called Brick Park, and so we're doing all kinds of events. We're doing ticketed concerts. We're doing car shows, motorcycle shows. We're doing events with Sounders for World Cup. So we're really trying to like give people a reason to come down and hang out and understand that it is safe. You know what I mean? It's not dangerous. Like we're there every day, and it's not dangerous.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
Strength in numbers too, right? The more people that are down there, the safer it feels. But I've been working there 4 months in that neighborhood, and I've noticed a change in the 4 months. And
Like for the better, right?
yeah, totally. And I feel, I mean, I'm sure a lot of that is weather and tourism and sporting events happening, of course. But even like this past week was super busy down there, man. And like Thursday, we were obviously busy because of Sounders games and whatnot. But then there was like a Thursday or Friday where we still did like 6 Gs and there was nothing going on. It was just a beautiful day and people were there. And that was like, to me, was like the first like big sign of like, hey, there's no Mariners game, there's no Sounders game, there's nothing going on today. It's just nice weather.
It's just a beautiful day, and there's a
we
nice
still had a
park.
very successful, profitable day just because people were just like actually out and about,
and with
sitting in the patio, just hanging out.
with the waterfront coming back around, all the events they're doing, all the events Pioneer Square Alliance is doing, everything we're trying to do, the new hotel opening up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a new hotel,
Westland Hotel, everything that Dom and those guys are doing at Forest Through the Trees, it's popping.
Yeah.
It's popping.
There's some pretty great openings that have happened and are on the way, like Parlor opening up, like Baba Yaga opening up.
Baba Yaga's
they're
killer.
fantastic.
Yeah, we love those guys.
It's such a cool space. And there's an urbanist concept called door theory. And to like summarize it in a very or high level way, it's that the more doors you have that you can go into and on a block, the safer the block feels. And I think that's
interesting.
It just bears out, right? Because you have people, you have active people sort of maintaining their space. And when you have empty spaces and especially empty lots, that's sort of where things start to deteriorate. So to me, like open businesses, it's always
but
the
also,
best
like
thing.
people live there, and I think that's what I'm trying to
We
disabuse
bore-
people of thinking that people don't
Yeah.
live there. It's not just downtown Seattle or the financial district or something. Like people live and work there. Children and parents live there. It's a real ass neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful, and more and more people are moving there with the denser and taller things become down there.
For sure. What do you think it needs to get above the 25% that it's currently at and continue to ascend?
Just more events, more reasons to come down there. People need to see that it's safe and see how beautiful it is. And I think I would assume by after World Cup comes around next year, we'll be 75, 80. You know what I mean? Would be my opinion on it.
Yeah.
I think there's a few things it needs still to be a real thriving neighborhood, but I think it's all coming.
Yeah. How did you feel about the All-Star game and how that all played out? Because I think
It was a flop.
Yeah.
It was a total flop. And see, these are the lessons. Like we did everything we could to open up before All-Star game, and it was like totally a flop.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't activate the way we did, it would have been even worse. But yeah, I mean, it was just like the city forgot Pioneer Square was a part of the stadium district.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything to activate. And so I've taken it upon myself to do these events for Club World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm taking it upon myself then the city's not doing any events in Pioneer Square. For World Cup, they're doing everything at Seattle Center. So they're forgetting Pioneer Square again,
it's like
all
a repeat.
over again.
Yep.
They are I want to mention that they are doing stuff to try to keep it active.
Sure.
But we have to take it upon ourselves to make things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm looking for my own sponsors. I'm doing my own events. I'm doing my own concerts. I'm doing my own activations. I'm doing all that stuff for World Cup to make sure it is active because it's the biggest event in the world. And what I don't want to see is all this noise from LA and Chicago and New York and everything in Seattle. Like, we're not doing anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pioneer Square, there should be 15, 20,000 people, watching some Seattle band playing on a stage,
Absolutely.
before the game or after the game. And there needs to be the beautiful shots of that on the television.
Have you talked to the city about that? Because Mark and I got invited to a press meeting at Town Hall where they were talking about the DAT, the Downtown Activation Plan or something like that.
To the city's credit, like they've funded some of the concerts I've done to do the Dinosaur Jr. thing last year and the Tuxedo thing. This year, they're helping fund some of the stuff for Club World Cup to make it happen. But Seattle still hasn't grasped the Wrigleyvilles or the LA Lives or the Deer Park, I think is what it's called, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Like people want to be around that stuff, and not everyone can afford $1,000 ticket to go to the World Cup, but they want to be around that energy.
They want to be in the party. They want to go to the party.
People wanted to be at the All-Star game, but not in the stadium. So why isn't there batting cages and all this other shit to do? You know what I mean? So we're trying to do that. The city is helping a little bit. Pioneer Square Alliance DSA is doing a lot.
Yeah.
So we just want to Taylor Swift was the best All-Star game ever. When she did her shows, we couldn't have been busier for 3 days.
Yeah. I've heard that from other business owners about how much better that was.
The city just doesn't take advantage or exploit the opportunities of sporting events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think are the best steps that just we as people who care about this and aren't necessarily business owners can take to? Do we need to be contacting our city council members or?
I mean, we've been contacting them about fucking Palestine since day one, and what has that done?
Exactly.
I know.
I think it all helps. They want to hear about it. You know what I mean? But I think I just think being active, showing up at events and going out and, being places, taking up space, them seeing that, I think is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, do you have any chiming in?
Yeah, I think it's worth the effort, man. Like we're saying, that's like, to me, when I came to Seattle for the first time and now working back in the neighborhood, that's been the one part of town where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm in a city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so much of
For
Seattle,
sure.
especially like when I was living and working in the like northeast part of the city, it kind of feels more like residential, not suburban, but more like residential, like Boston or something.
For
like
sure.
one of those kind of cities, And when I was working in Bellevue for the past few years, it's just fucking so sterile. It's just one big fucking mall,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a replica
it's like
of the
Las
city.
Vegas, but not fun. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it's like
Oh my God.
fucking like Cupertino or San Jose or some
Yeah,
shit. Like it
it's a
sucks.
bummer.
And then being back in Pioneer Square, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, it feels like a city, right? Like you're saying, like it's like actual old brick buildings, and actual like plaza, actual like history, actually like the buildings have like breath to them, which everything else is so boxy and sterile.
Everything else
in
got
Seattle
torn
now.
down,
Everything
and
else
these
got
buildings
torn
are
down.
protected. They're
They're the only
historic
thing
buildings.
that's protected.
Yeah.
So it's like, it should be like, hold on to this history of how old Seattle really is. I think a lot of people forget like how old Seattle is as a city. Not in the grand schemes of the world, but in the, at least in the West Coast. Like,
Sure.
I think it has more like history than like LA almost, really. Maybe San Francisco's a little older, but like Seattle has so much history
Yeah.
in comparison to in a lot of places in America. And it's like, and Pioneer Square is the only part that really feels like that. So like,
'Cause
why
it's
not?
protected,
It's
yeah.
protected, but why not like highlight that and represent
Yeah.
that? And it's
Yeah.
fun. People love that, man. People want to like. That's why people go to Europe and stuff.
You
'cause
should
they
highlight.
Absolutely.
You
They
should
want to see
highlight
it,
it.
man.
Yeah.
No one's like wants to go look at Amazon buildings. Like,
Well, that's exactly what happened.
like what's cool? Like, yeah, okay, great, another condo, sick. Like,
Yeah.
That's
No one
exactly
wants
what
to look at
happened.
that,
Amazon
you know?
tore down all the cool
Yeah.
buildings, frankly.
Yeah,
Like
so it's-
the whole city, not the whole city, but a lot of the city used to look like Pioneer Square
Well, it
when
was
we were kids, and Amazon knocked it all
It
down. They
was
bought all
also
the buildings.
when they allowed 6 floors in Capitol Hill with no design
Yeah, right.
review or restrictions. Everyone like they said you have to keep the facade, but it's like
Yeah.
let's go see what's on sale at Home Depot and build a building
Right.
with
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? If they would have been like build as high as you want, but everything needs to be brick or everything needs to have these
Sure.
touches to it. So then you have like this cohesive,
Yeah.
cool looking neighborhood
Right.
that still feels like something.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just
Now it's all
a
hardy
shit box on
panels.
top of a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheapest possible. My
Yeah.
the
My,
5-in-1 or
my
whatever.
college
right?
professor called it disposable architecture. And when I was 18, 19, I was like, whoa, what do you mean? And now I know exactly what he means.
Totally.
Yeah. It's like an IKEA shelf in building form.
Totally.
And the thing is that you can do it a different way. Like Philadelphia is a fantastic example of a city that is building new buildings that fit in its historical landscape. And they aren't just hammering these hardy board boxes, which it's so confusing to me because we do have design review and we have design requirements for every neighborhood. It's just that they don't seem to be working.
Yeah. Or they'll like make a turn lane and take away all the fucking parking spaces for a bike lane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like the whole city planning here is just
It's not cohesive.
It's a
there's
nightmare.
there's too many competing stakeholders. So what ends up happening is someone comes in with a bold proposal and then it's not followed through on policy wise.
Yeah.
There's all these compromises that just sort of like the comparison I make to it is like, let's say there's a debate between like, is it better to run with running shoes or is it better to run barefoot? Right. And then there's this guy that comes in like, oh, well, why don't we try one running shoe and see how that works?
Right.
And they're like, oh, that sucked. Can you imagine if we wore 2 running shoes? That'd be even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was like I think it was the 60s when the federal government offered us a subway system.
Oh my God, that
Yeah,
is so
God.
And we're like,
frustrating.
no, we're good. And then I think Atlanta got it.
Yes.
You know, and like think where the city would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we had a subway or a train car system started in the 60s. Like,
Yeah, with
How
75% funding coming from the
Yeah.
federal government in 1970s dollars.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. I can bitch about shit all day.
Yeah, I will turn into the Joker. over
Well,
that.
I'm glad we have Pioneer Square and that it's protected architecturally. And it's so
beautiful.
beautiful. We
Yeah.
have Occidental Park, now Brick
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah. And
The
everything that
70s
they're
subway would probably run better than the light rail too. 'cause Let's be real,
It would be
man.
staffed.
They knew how to build things back then. Yeah, like
It would have been easier to build too, just like fewer.
things to cut
It'd be
through.
tanks.
Yeah.
It'd be all like repurposed
Yeah.
post-war.
It probably would have been heavy
Trains.
rail, really.
Yeah, it would have. It wouldn't have
Just
been
like
light.
New York and
Yep.
Yeah.
And London.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad we have the ID and Pioneer
Yeah.
Square.
And we have some
Lucky us.
public
And-
transportation.
Yeah, and we have Belltown too, which
Yeah.
is brutalized. Speaking of turning into the Joker, I probably shouldn't even get started on what's happened to Belltown, but we need to be building on the empty lots that we've created there. If we're going to destroy historic buildings in Belltown and make an empty lot,
You've got a pitch in you on that, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I've got several.
All right, we'll write it and then talk about it once you wrote about it.
Exactly. That'll be my.
Should we talk about what we ate this week? Anybody eat
Let's do
anything good? Heard everybody ate lasagna at Mezzanotte. Except me.
I've been going to every weekend. There's a Yahala. It's a Palestinian pop-up thing
Love
in Mercer
it.
Island.
Oh,
Really?
wait. I thought you were talking about
Not
Taylor
Yala.
Cheney's place.
No, I love that place
Yeah.
too. So they took over. There's an architecture storefront thing, and Friday,
Mercer
Saturday,
Island.
Sunday they do a little pop-up traditional coffee, tea, and then they have like some baked goods, and they do different games and have speakers and all kinds.
Wow.
Oh,
of
that's
it's
got to
really
be on
cool.
our radar for
Yeah,
sure.
I love knowing about
So
that.
they're actually extended it through May now.
Great.
Rad.
And the person who's doing it is looking for a storefront
Cool.
of her own. Yeah,
I would love to chat with
Yeah.
that person. That sounds amazing.
yeah, super cool.
Great. You eat anything good this week, Sean?
Mezzanotte is the only place we really ate out. I'm not trying to just plug.
Yeah.
our
No,
company,
it's
but
literally where you
yeah.
ate.
The lasagna was great. I had the scallops with the sunchoke puree was really good. The burrata, prosciutto cotto was really good. I love snacks. I like snacky food. So
Nice.
yeah, all about that. Other than that, I don't know. Just kind of like shitty takeout in the UD, I guess.
Nice.
Really, like yeah.
Where's your shittiest takeout take?
Yeah, I eat a lot of shawarma king. You know,
Good.
it's like
Yeah, no, I fuck with shawarma king.
hashtag chef life, or you're like
Yeah.
getting off late, and you're
Absolutely.
like, what's the one thing? Okay, shawarma king again. They're
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
What's the one that's open till like 3?
Is it Aladdin?
It's not Aladdin. It's across the street from Aladdin and a little bit up. Sultan? There's one that's open super, super late.
Okay.
It's not as good. I think it's called Sultan.
That
But
sounds
it's open
about
till
right now that
3.
you,
Yeah.
that you mention it. Yeah.
I do like Aladdin though.
Yeah. But
They're great.
Yeah.
we're saying the word shitty in a very colloquial way because like
No,
that's,
lovingly.
that's good eating.
We mean it
No,
good.
lovingly.
Good way.
Yeah.
By shitty, we mean like it's takeout. You're shitty. It's the middle of the night. You're like, oh God,
Yeah.
what can I stuff my face with?
Who was it? Oh, it was Brendan.
Yeah.
Brendan McGill called it good eating food. Like, that's just the real pleasurable.
cute.
It's not fancy, but it's just like
Nice.
it's what you want. It's
Yeah.
good eating food.
Now I miss Little Duck in the U district.
Oh my God, that place is so
Oh, I've never
good.
been there.
Do you know Little
That's
Duck?
gone, dude.
What?
The deli?
No,
The
no,
weird
no.
deli? Oh, okay, no.
No,
never
it's
mind.
it's Dongbei cuisine in the old dry cleaner spot
Oh shit.
at like it's just past the bridge. It's at like Roosevelt and
Yeah.
40th or something like that.
Right in that little corner where there used to be like a dry cleaner, or maybe still is.
I
a
think
dry
it's now
cleaner.
half dry cleaner and half
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
Duck.
I'll check it
It's
out. I
love
dope
the
as
name
shit.
Little
There's
Duck.
there's
Yeah.
a Thai spot on Roosevelt on 65th. I eat at all the time because
yeah?
they're open late too. And I don't know how to say it. It's
Spell it.
Tarpachan, THAPRACHAN.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a very hard name to remember.
Paprachon.
But it's there. That's like the one thing in the Roosevelt neighborhood that's not just I go because it's open late. It's actually like really good
Okay.
Thai
Okay.
food, and it's really cool.
How late is it open?
I think they're open till like 11 or midnight on the weekends.
Okay.
But it's kind of funky. They have like it's this like weird kind of like shotgun building, and their kitchen is above. Like
Okay.
in a loft, so they have this like dumbbell waiter that like they put the food it goes up and down.
I love
And it's
it.
super cool, man. I love like you get your pad thai and you just like watch your pad thai
Yeah.
come going.
Here it comes.
like down this little elevator, like
Yeah.
coming to you. It's like super funky and
That's
yeah,
great.
and all the ladies that work there are super nice. Yeah, I
Love
love
it.
Cool.
Yeah, that I plug that spot.
Good
That's
to know.
cool.
What's
Sounds
your order?
good.
Pad Thai.
Yeah, I usually mix it up pad thai or the cashew nut chicken.
Okay.
Because it comes with like a lot of veggies, or like the
Yeah.
veggie delight, it's just like chicken
Nice.
saute kind of thing. I
Sure.
like that, and I feel like I'm eating some, even though it's like drenched in sugar. I'm like, I ate some vegetables today.
It's
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
It's Thai American
Yeah.
food.
Chai
it's
mac,
like
too.
Italian American. It's
Chai mac
Yeah.
on the Ave, I really like that spot.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if
that's-
I've been there this week, but it's
Where is it?
Chai mac. It's kind of near like Supreme Pizza. That
Oh,
part
it's
of-
the
yeah.
Korean fried chicken place.
Yeah,
It's
Korean
the old
fried
Taco
chicken.
Bell on the F. Yeah.
Yeah, chicken wings.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, super good chicken wings.
That was a Taco
Super
Bell
good.
when I was a
It's
kid.
pretty expensive though, man, for like
Yeah, it
just
is.
chicken wings. I feel like whenever I
Yeah.
go there, I'm like, damn, I spent like $50 on like just chicken and that's it. Like,
I like
what
the
hell?
corn
But
cheese
it's
there.
so good. Yeah, it's like
The corn
it's-
cheese is
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
really
Corn
good.
cheese is the ultimate good eating food, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I like that spot.
Yeah. I
Mark,
love
what'd
it.
you eat this week?
I went on a pizza bender.
Okay. What are you, Italian?
I somehow ate pizza so many days this week, and it wasn't intentional. Like I could
It's
see if
just
I,
who you are.
Yeah, it's not like I was working on a pizza map for Eater. It just sort of happened. Like I went to Sunny Hill's anniversary,
Okay.
Nice.
and then had a slice there. And then I tried to go to my friend Derek's with my friend Suze,
Yeah.
and then the two people in front of us got the last two seatings of the night.
Oh,
So
I thought you were going to say the last two slices.
I mean, essentially, really,
Yeah, right.
when it comes down to it. So we went to Laurelhurst at this place called Varlando's.
Never heard of it.
And neither had I. I thought there's a pizza place I've never heard of. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that is a 90s era Greek American style pizza.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And so it's got that thicker crust. There's a lot
That
of
much
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah, you see the layer of cheese in cross section. They give you a pie server to serve it. So like you take the slice and all of a sudden you're in a Pizza Hut commercial from the 80s, with the cheese pull just coming out. I will say that is not my favorite style of pizza. It's probably when it comes down to it, my least favorite style.
Like
but
Olympia pizza style.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say there's
It's like a cake.
actually really loved it. That was a really great rendition of it. So
Nice.
Where's that at?
that is over in Laurelhurst.
Okay.
So kind of like a couple doors down from. I'm not sure if Jack's is still there.
it's over there.
Yeah, but over in on that street.
There's a place, Acropolis Pizza, I think.
Yeah.
That this Greek family owned that I used to rent a building from. That was the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza weighs like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We used to
So
order from
good.
Olympia Pizza. My family grew up on Queen Anne Hilltop, and it was a treat, and I didn't like it. I wanted flat pizza. I didn't want like a fucking layer cake.
Right.
And I didn't like green peppers, and it would be like embedded in the cheese. There's a layer of cheese on top, and it had shrimp in it, which I like now, but as a child, I was like, this is not a reward. This is not what I want for my birthday.
The flavor of green pepper tends to leach into the cheese, too, which
Right?
I always hated as
Green
a kid.
pepper
I
is
was like,
just
"Ugh."
unripe pepper. Like,
Yeah.
let it ripen.
I felt very empowered to dislike green pepper when I found out that it was unripe.
There's very
Bell
little
pepper.
that I dislike.
Yeah.
But green pepper is up there.
Yeah, and I
just
wouldn't
like
even say I
pennies.
dislike it per se. It's just
Yeah.
more like I'd rather have a yellow or orange or red bell
something,
pepper, or I'd rather have a jalapeno to be true.
You'd rather have a
Really-
ripe vegetable than an unripe one.
Exactly.
That's why they're
Generally.
half the price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
right.
green tomatoes slap,
Green
so
tomatoes are great, yeah.
You eat anything else, Mark?
Yeah, I went to Spice Walla in Columbia
great.
City, and I was singing its praises a couple episodes ago because it really is so good. They're doing this Indian-style fried chicken over there.
They're doing a different menu, right?
Yeah, different menu and some really great sides like vegetable pakoras. They're doing like this fenugreek potato salad kind of thing.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah,
I wonder
it's
why
really
they're doing that under the same name.
Yeah, I wonder that too. I think it was
Utam just kind of likes to experiment. Like he has ideas.
But it should be
a slightly different
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like chicken walla or
Maybe
something.
he's testing out chicken walla.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were excited because we were gonna. My wife really wanted Spice Walla, and she's like, "Oh," and I was like, "There's one right here." And then she looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's a totally different menu."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they're not doing.
They're not
the-
doing kati rolls
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
But I want to say, I feel like I want to talk about them again because what they're doing there is really tasty, great food, and it's very affordable, and it's ethically sourced, and they're great people who are taking care of their employees. And isn't that what we want? Like, don't we all want that?
Yeah.
And I feel like, let's
They are the nicest people.
Let's support the thing we want, you know, because it was a sunny day when I went, and granted, it was early in the day. It was like 5:30, but I was expecting it to be chock-a-block just because like sunny patio, get takeout fried chicken, like that's a no-brainer. And I was like, but like I'm the only person here right now. Like this needs to be crowded and busy, and it's worthy of that.
You're doing your part.
Exactly.
Yep.
Spice Walla, everyone, and also the kati roll locations are fantastic as well.
Spice Walla is great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I
great.
love that spot.
Good ice cream too.
Totally. Where'd you go, Meg?
Oh, I went everywhere. I went to the Polar Bar, the Arctic Club, with my bestie,
Yeah.
Best Lovejoy, the author, and we talked about book agents because we're both talking about book proposals right now. I ordered a drink called the Passion Star, not realizing it was a porn star cocktail as a spritz, but it was delicious. Actually, I liked
Oh wow,
it.
that is.
It was a passion fruit spritz porn star.
I'm surprised that was on the menu there.
I
That's
was
a lot
too.
cheekier than I associated
Also, they were
with.
playing Tool.
Whoa.
And
Wow.
Bess was like, "Are they fucking playing Tool at the Arctic Club Hotel?" And I was like, "No, yes."
This ain't your father's
That's
polar
insane.
bar.
And I was like, "How come you know that, Bess?" She's like, "I know Tool." I'm like, "I thought I was the nerdy Tool dork
Yeah.
here, but she knew too."
I guess Tool is sort of goth adjacent
It's got-
audience
yeah.
wise.
At this point,
Bess is adult goth, but Tool is also metal. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was like, "Stick to your genre." No, not really. We enjoyed it. It was nice.
Cool.
I went to Taste of Yemen with Jackie Variano. We were trying to go to a Chinese barbecue spot in Kent, and then we didn't like it, so we went across the parking lot to the brand new Yemeni spot, and it was delicious. And I didn't know a damn thing about Yemeni food.
Yeah.
We got something called lamb fasa, FAHSA, which I keep wanting to call the FAFSA, but that's different. It was similar to Indian food. We got like saffron rice, the basmati rice where the edges are kind of orange red.
Yeah.
And we got like a tandoori chicken type dish. It was lovely.
Okay.
I liked it.
What was your favorite that you got?
I liked the lamb. The lamb
Yeah.
was sort of in like a soupy, like sauce, and then you pick it up with the fresh bread. And then I took a bunch of this big flat bread, similar to naan, and like fried it in like bacon fat when I got home. Like ate it. It was all crispy.
There you go.
Anyway, I liked it. I'd like to go back and try the menu some more.
Yeah.
I went to a little bakery called Wild Wheat that made a hell of a blackberry Danish, and it looked similar. It looked like something Macrina might turn out. It had lots of fresh berries on top, but they said they made it. So
Cool.
Wild Wheat in Kent. I ate that pastrami mommy sando with the no call no show, which you also ate.
That's what I did on Monday. I was like, what did I do on Monday?
Yeah, we went to the Twin Peaks pop up at Bad Bishop.
Oh,
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, and we were really taken with the bread they were using in that sandwich
beautiful
too.
bread.
And I found out it was from Ben's Bread, so that was the
of
supplier of
course.
that.
Yeah, shout out.
And
Yeah.
so we've finally tried Ben's Bread, and we didn't know it.
Finally.
Because we've been meaning to get over there. It's just kind
We
of
did a burger with Ben's bread.
Oh, did
with,
you really?
With Yala.
yeah.
Okay, cool. It was delicious.
Amazing bread,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I went to the Virginia Inn and had some fries with very good aioli mayo
Yeah.
and a cider, and I interviewed the owner, and he had some tales to tell. If you want to read them in The Stranger this week. I interviewed him about how his lease is, he got a notice to vacate the Virginia Inn, and his response was to take down the historic sign on the
Good for
outside of the
him.
building
Good for him.
and keep it.
I disagree.
I fucking love that.
And the Pike Place Preservation and Development Authority said, hey, that sign has been there for 120 plus years.
That's not his to hold
it
hostage.
doesn't belong
That's-
to you. And he was like,
That's garbage.
How long has he been there?
Since
6
2019.
years.
Oh, that's not his.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's not
it's
his.
not.
Yeah.
The building is not his. He rents the building. So he climbed
Yeah.
up there and took it down. And
Oh,
he's
I
like,
thought-
they can arrest
I thought
me.
he'd been there for
No.
40, 50,
No.
something.
His whole position is that he didn't like that the terms of his lease involved 6% to the Pike Place Market PDA when he crossed a certain threshold.
Over 1.2 million.
But that's how the leases there
That's
work
everyone's lease
because
in Pike
they're
Place. Yeah.
below market value and they're trying to enable
So he's
people.
just
who-
fucking bitter.
yeah,
He's
he just
mad.
doesn't like. He just didn't.
So he was
didn't-
month to month for over a year. They were like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll negotiate something. And then he showed up at a PDA meeting and like harassed people and got in their faces.
yeah.
And then he got
Yeah.
banned from the meeting.
Take back what I said.
He stole the sign.
Take back
It
what I
sounds
said.
cool. He sounds
Yeah.
like a cool
Yeah.
vigilante.
Yeah.
Read the story. I talked to both
Okay.
sides. It was
Yeah,
it was a convoluted story.
it is.
Speaking
It
of-
The
is a
fries
must-read.
and the aioli mayo, or the garlic aioli, were very good.
Speaking of French fries, I had the fries at Bateau.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are beef
Holy
fat
Are they
fries,
beef
right?
fat fries? Yeah.
Dude. Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Oh, no,
that's
that's-
fine.
That talo, man.
Yeah.
I went to Kids Cafe, which is in Belltown, which is Fijian owned. It's just a coffee shop, but they are selling cakes of paradise from down in Georgetown, those rainbow Hawaiian cakes. I'm glad to know that. I don't have to go to Georgetown only because they close at like 3 and I never have time. So now you can go to Kids Cafe in Belltown and get a cakes of
Is that the
paradise.
cafe next to
to Hawaii Kauai Family
Kauai
Restaurant.
Family?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, cool.
Same
Yeah.
owners.
That's a good plug.
Yeah. I ate a big tub of
need to go
queso by
back to
Will
Kauai.
Gordon because he closed Tio Babies, and Mark went and got me a big tub of
Yeah.
queso.
That was very sweet of Will. Will,
Yeah.
we were chatting on Instagram
Yeah.
and he's like, I got some extra queso if you want some. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't want that more.
Yeah.
And so I went over there and he was like, give Meg some too. And
Yeah, I got a big tub of
Yeah.
it. I've been dipping everything in my life into this big
Yeah.
tub of spicy queso. And then we went to Lennox for 1 minute to get a picture with Johnny because we forgot to get it during the podcast. And I had a very good drink, and I don't
Yeah.
remember what's in it, but it was very good.
I had the Tres Hermanas there.
Yeah.
And because we were talking
You
about
had a
it
good
during-
drink too. They're
I
all
did.
good.
Yeah. What was the name of it?
Mine was
Don't
called
remember.
like the Rescata or something like that.
Yeah, great bar program there. And we were talking about it last episode. They have a really interesting
Ricasa.
rum focus, or like slight rum focus. They have other things too.
He said they wanted to be rum focused, but now they just kind of do everything. But it's a lot of Caribbean rums.
Yeah.
Lennox,
Sweet.
beautiful spot.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about it.
Yeah,
that
that's
was my
great.
meal of the year last year.
Wow.
I am.
The lechon dish. Yeah.
I'm so surprised it's not on the Eater 38.
It's because it's brand new.
I guess so, but there's other new places on there too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's worthy of it. Anyways, I'm sure it'll make it on
Maybe
there
Harry's
eventually.
never heard of it.
Yeah, right. Can't get everywhere, right?
Sorry, Harry. I'm sure you've heard of it. I think that'll do it. Anything else? Any plugs?
Yeah, what's coming up next week, guys? Or in the future?
What is coming up?
Next month we have the concerts.
Oh yeah, the concert
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
start at Brick Park. So we
Yeah.
got Sango doing a show with Hippie Sabotage, and then we're hosting Odessa's label Foreign Family. We're doing their 10-year anniversary out front.
Cool.
Team. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Where should people go to like find out about what's happening over?
BrickParkPSQ.com.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll throw a link up to that
Sweet.
on the post for this.
Great.
That's a cool thing. And Brick Park is unofficial, right?
Unofficial.
Yeah.
I don't think Pioneer Square Alliance knows. I've rebranded
You're
it.
just like, we're
It
doing
just
it.
sounds fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know
I like
what
it.
mean? Yeah. And we're trying to give it a thing so it can be summer concerts at Brick Park, trying to build up
Sure.
the vibe of it.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Yeah.
Does Lil Woody still have that tater tot burger, the 420?
Today's
burger?
the
Yeah.
last
Oh,
day.
it's the last day.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, by the
I
time
was like,
you hear
I ate
us,
plenty of queso this week because it was on that
yeah,
burger with
right.
tater tots.
It was very tall in
Housing
the
it,
picture.
Your guys' queso is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
I
there
love
just
it.
isn't a lot of queso in town anymore.
Yeah, it's
I
kind
just
of
did
a
it
Texas
because
thing.
I was always, when I would tour, when we play Albuquerque,
Yeah.
green chilies and queso was on. Like you go to
Yeah.
Burger King and they put green chilies and
Chili
queso on
con
your
queso,
burger.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like that's why we have it. We
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you
Couldn't get
do.
it.
I'll plug my band real quick.
Yeah,
what's your
band?
Relevant. So I just started a band. It's all chefs. Everyone in the band is a chef. And we're
Wonderful.
called the Health Department.
Oh my God.
And all of our songs are about the restaurant industry.
Amazing.
So we don't have anything booked yet, but when it starts coming up,
Mez
keep
Fest.
an eye
Yeah.
out.
Are you gonna play with
Mez
Jake?
Fest, Mez Fest in
Oh,
August.
you guys
But,
had like a
We do a rock
Yeah,
show
yeah.
well, at
Meds Fest in
Mezzanote
August.
called Meds Fest, and
Okay.
it's all bands that are in the restaurant industry.
You gonna
Yeah.
play with
Yeah.
Dish Pit?
yeah, I was just
Dish
gonna,
Pit.
I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gonna
They'll play with
say,
Dish
you
Pit.
guys have like a
Trojan's band. Yeah.
you guys have like a Beatles Stones thing brewing with Dish
Yeah,
Pit.
yeah.
Love it. Should we have a band that's like food journalists?
I don't think people would
we
like
can have
that.
Jackie.
You guys could host it.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, thanks so much,
All
guys.
right.
This
Yeah,
was
thanks
really
so
fun
much.
chat.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, great having you.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.